Hi guys, me again. This is just a quickie one. Hi guys, this is just a quick one. I just got a card that's part done, and to try and show you the whole thing on camera would be impossible because there's a lot of stitching on this, if you can see all the embroidery, look, and all the edging, etc. But I thought I'd just show you the last part of the card and just explain how we got to where we've got to. So you could do this using your Cricut. You can cut it out, the cupcake, using the Cricut. However, you would have to stiffen the fabric using, I use Stiffy fabric stiffener, which is great. On this particular occasion, it just wasn't the look I was going for, and I really wanted to do this blanket stitch, oh, dropped it, around the edge. So what I used was this, I've got Crafters Companion board, and I used this board here, which has the cupcake on it, and I got a piece of paper, stuck it down, and I embossed the edge of the cupcake, and I then folded my piece of paper in half, and then I cut round the embossed line, so I ended up with two cupcakes. I then just took one of the cupcakes, flipped it so that this edge became down here, so I got a wobbly edge down this side, and I cut to make the little muffin cupcake top here, just around this edge. So I ended up with a top part and a bottom part. I would recommend as well that when you're doing this that you put a little mark on your piece of paper so that you know which is the right way up. I then got a piece of glue, just a normal tape runner with your temporary adhesive, and I took these squares of fabric, which were basically just squares of fabric like this, and I attached just a piece of tape runner on each piece of paper, and I just put each square, or a different square, on each of the top and the bottom of the cupcake. I couldn't be bothered with pinning, I haven't got time, I haven't got the bother of that, it didn't need it, so I just roughly cut round the edge of each using the paper obviously as my guide. Then I removed the paper, and I got another piece of fabric, this lovely pink, and again using a bit of tape runner, temporary adhesive tape runner, I just put a piece on each part of the cupcake, and then I positioned it how I wanted it on this square of fabric. I then went round the edge of each piece, and if I put it down here and see if I can zoom, and as you can see there, look, I've basically done what we call blanket stitch all the way around the edge. Now again, if anybody wants to know about this, then leave a message or a comment, and I can go into detail and actually show how that's done. That's not a problem. And then I did the same around the bottom of the cupcake as well. For this part of the cupcake, I basically, just to try and give some dimension to the actual sort of cupcake holder part, I did sort of little 3 stitches at different intervals, and then afterwards I just did a long stitch all the way through each part, but breaking it up so that it didn't look too kind of uniform. I wanted it to look more ununiform. Then I found these little roses that I had in my stash, and I basically just got some silicone glue. I put some blobs of silicone glue down and put those roses on and left them overnight. The other thing I then got was just some normal wet adhesive that dries clear. Vellum adhesive is quite good because it dries clear, and then I just put a couple of blobs randomly and just put these little beads on top, just to give a random look. Let me see if you can go close. Okay, so you've got that there. So then what I also then did was I took another just scrap of fabric, and using my lovely design runner, I put into the little computer part sprinkled with fun. I used I think it was fairy font or something they call it, and did that. So I've printed that onto the fabric. It prints really well onto the fabric. I wanted it to be quite rough, so I've left that kind of rough like that on purpose, believe it or not. Okay, so now I've got a card, which was a pre-scored card, and I'm hoping that it's going to fit. which it does. That's good. So then what I would suggest personally is using something that's a permanent adhesive, and I would use something like your ATG. I cannot get in this country, I don't know if other people in the UK can, but I cannot get a 714. I can only get the 700, so it's a little bit wider, but I'm not finding that a problem, to be honest. So just make sure I would do it to the card rather than onto the actual fabric, because I think it wouldn't really work. And make sure it's opening the right way. I think I want to open it this way from the top, so we'll do it that way around. So then you're going to take your piece of fabric, and also if you noticed I didn't go right to the edges because obviously this fabric doesn't go right to the edges, and I think it's quite nice that it'll look sort of loose at the edges. I think it'll give it that kind of vintagey feel. There we go, and we'll just press that down, just tidy up the edges here. Now I don't know whether I think it wants a ribbon or not. Sure. And then we need to find where we're going to put sprinkled with fun. I don't know whether to put it on the front or whether to put it on the side. I don't like, I'm not very, I don't like plain insides. I think what I'll probably do on the inside is put some sort of insert. And I think, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure that I think it needs this at all. I think it looks better without. Trying different places. Oh, yeah, down there I think. Now on this one I think we're obviously going to have to do it onto that fabric, so I am going to just use my Pro Glider if we can get it to do it, which is a bit of a, it's sort of getting the start of it. Ooh. There we go. And then just try and make sure there's no overlaps. There we go. And then we'll just pop that down there. And normally, as I say, I like to put something on the inside, but I think with this it might be better to leave it blank because it's not really anything in particular and it'll give something nice for somebody to write on, so I think we'll leave this as a blank one. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.